Hey everybody, welcome to Conversations with Sheranna and Charlene. Hello.
Hi.
I'm gonna let Charlene, I'm adjust the camera, I'm still figuring it out. I'm gonna let Charlene tell you who she is in just a second, as I did with Debbie on the first Conversation with Sheranna video. But I just have to say, and I mean this with all of my heart, this is one of the sweetest gifts that God ever gave me.
Aww.
Sitting right here in my still unupholstered big chair.
I love you.
I love you too. She came, and I mean this, and I think you feel the same way. She actually came to me out of the blue. Like, I didn't see it coming. We had met and we were friendly acquaintances. I knew that I loved this woman, but the way he put us together literally was supernatural and out of the blue, and I think we need to tell that story too as we go along. But first of all, who are you sitting in the big chair?
I'm Charlene Geisler. I don't have to say my age, right?
She doesn't have to say her age, but I told everybody in the other video how old I am, so if you want to know, go watch Conversations with Sheranna and Debbie, which is also on this YouTube channel.
I was born in Singapore and to a Taoist family. My parents worship ancestors and Buddhists and all these different gods, you know. So it's hard to really define like what is our religion. I typically just put Taoism.
Right.
And so growing up, I was always very religious and pious. I'll participate in all the rituals, you know, like offering food and drinks or wine to the gods. And so being the firstborn, I was also offered to the goddess of mercy as a daughter. So you can imagine, growing up, I have a lot of spiritual bondages in me, you know, with all that background. And I became a Christian when I was 14 years old. A friend invited me to a Louis Palau crusade in Singapore. And I had to lie to sneak out of the house to attend that crusade in a stadium, you know, like a football stadium. And I was with a group of friends, you know, whom my friend had invited. And firstly, I don't even know why I said yes to going to that, because, you know, a year prior to that, when my friend had invited me to church, I went thinking that, you know, it was some kind of community project, because she said, do you want to go to a service with me? I thought, okay, service, okay, I can, you know, help something, whatever. When I realized it was the church, I tried to leave, but I couldn't, because, you know, the service was starting and I was so worried that my gods are going to punish me for being there, for betraying them or whatever. So since I couldn't leave, I sat in the service, but in my mind I just kept thinking, I'm not listening, because I thought, well, I may be physically here, but I'm not really listening to all these gibberish, you know. So since then, I never returned to church, even though when my friend invited me again. So, but a year later, I don't know why she invited me again, and I don't know why I say yes, but it was the Lord who was pursuing me. He didn't give up on me.
So from the Louis Palau until you went again, it was about a year.
No, I went.
Oh, you went to church, and it was a year later that you went to the Louis Palau.
That's right.
Okay.
And
that was where
I became a Christian. And again, whenever I look back to that event, I always wonder, why did I do that? Because I was with my friends and I was the only one who decided to respond to the altar call. And it's like, man is stepping down from that stadium with so many people. There's no guarantee I could find my friends again, but I went down. I just felt drawn and went down.
The thing that keeps going through my mind, again, active listener, you'll learn that watching Conversations with Sheranna, but you guys know this about me. No man comes unless the Spirit draws them.
Yes.
And so you just described literally that drawing
That's
moment.
That's right. Yes, so I went down and I invited Jesus into my life, and I went home not knowing not fully understanding the significance of that decision.
But you knew you were different? You knew you were changed? You knew something was
Yes,
different?
I knew that I had made a choice, not really realizing what was to come.
Okay, gotcha.
So in the days and months and years ahead, because remember I was 14, I was from a Chinese family who worship other religions, and so I didn't tell them about my conversion.
Because they were rejectors
Yes.
of Jesus.
But then I also went to church, so I had to sneak off to church on Sunday morning, and of course, obviously they found out, and I faced lots of persecution, and but in the process, it really helped me to really draw near to God. You know, like even as a young believer, I knew that God was there protecting me and helping me to be able to make it. Going to church every Sunday it's not a guarantee that I could make it there.
Right.
You know, and I did. And yeah, I mean, like just tons of persecution. I actually, to get my very first, I didn't have a Bible.
I love this story. God, yeah.
I didn't have a Bible, so what I had, this same friend who invited me to church lent me the book Johnny by Johnny.
Oh yeah, Erickson.
So I copied out all the verses in the tiny little notebook I had, and which I still have it to this day, and that's like my little Bible. But over time, I needed a real Bible.
Because your spirit was hungry.
Yes, there was just not enough, in a
Yeah.
book, And so at the book table of my church, I picked out a white leather, red letter Bible, and I asked the person how much that was, and she told me it was $20, and I said, "Can you keep that for me? I will come back to get it." And
I'm doing this. Go ahead.
Okay, so I actually, for the next couple of weeks,
Y'all can figure out what that was about.
I skipped school lunch, and I saved up the money to get that Bible. I didn't expect to be so emotional. I told that stories many times,
I love that. You were willing to sacrifice to get a copy of the Word of God, even though you had never read it yet.
No.
But you believed in the truth of it because of your salvation experience, reading Johnny Erickson's book, and just what you experienced up until that point. You were so hungry that you sacrificed to get a copy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And because, like even though my families are not English educated, so they know what a Bible is. And so when I was reading the Bible at home, first of all, I have to wrap it up in a gift wrap paper to cover the cover. And then secondly, I have to hide it every night. And I didn't really have my own bedroom. I basically slept in the living room. And so I have different hiding spots. And when I was reading, I have to put it inside my textbook as if like I'm studying. But
Wow, I didn't know that part.
yes, because
Wow.
like if I was holding like a Bible, they could tell that even though I may have wrapped it up in a gift wrap paper, but that might not be safe enough to read it because it's thick. I mean,
Right.
that could only mean one thing, and so I would read it between my textbook
Wow.
for school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you say how, because that was a little interruption, that's why I was like, is it? Because somebody was coming in the door, and again, we're in my house, and this is good, so I don't want to stop. You told that you skipped your school lunches and saved your money in order to purchase the Bible. Did you say the part about where you had found it and asked the person to save it for you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, sorry that I missed that. You got the Bible, you started reading the Bible, growing in your faith in the Lord. How long did this go on, that you had to hide the reading of the Bible, or was it discovered?
It went on for a while, and there were times that it faced near destruction by my grandmother, but I begged and cried, and I got it back because they are also, because I grew up in a poor family, so they knew that it must have cost money to get it, even though I did it like without their permission. So they were not going to just throw it away and, and waste it.
Do you think that your family believed that they could turn you away from your new Christian faith and back to Taoism?
I don't think they would. That's a good question. I don't think they actually thought that.
Because I'm trying to think what was, obviously there was the motivation of fear because they feared retaliation from their gods,
Yes.
lowercase g, the gods that they serve. They feared the retaliation of that, but was that their main motivation, their only,
Well, because from my dad's perspective, or a lot of the Asian family perspective, because it's like as long as you are under the age of 21, which is like minor, like you are staying in my household, you believe what I believe in, by becoming a Christian, which is deemed as a Western religion, you are kind of like betraying your...
Which is so funny because Jesus from the East.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But it was, like it's a Western thing, like, bad TV, bad type of thing.
Yeah.
And so they were maybe they were concerned too that I was going to like reject all these values, like filial piety, respecting your parents and all that, and which
They didn't know that those were foundational principles in Christianity.
Yeah, and of course after my conversion, my family still participated in the monthly or twice a month rituals of food offering to the gods, and I couldn't participate and I could not eat the offered food, which is usually what we would do is, they will offer it to the idols, and then at the end of it, that was our meal. We eat the blessed food.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. And so I couldn't, and then over time, after many, many years, my grandmother would know that, she doesn't eat these foods, so she would save a little portion for me.
Wow.
And she know that I do not like hold the joystick and do all the bowing and all that stuff. So over time they soften their hearts, but they were never that but the good news is my grandmother, before she passed away at the age of 91 in 2016, she actually came to the Lord.
Wow.
I believe she did.
Wow.
And
wow.
Yeah.
I love that. There's a little bit about it in our book,
Yes.
Trust, which is not what this video is about, but you do want this book if you don't have it. There is a story in there about your conversion, but it's not as detailed as we're able to talk about here. And again, I'm sorry about that interruption a while ago, but I keep thinking, her story is so good. We're going to have to do this in parts anyway, because we're just going to have a part 2 and a part 3, and because we have to tell how we came together.
Oh yeah.
How she came to the United States, who she's married to. You want to know that. You really do. You want to know who this gal is connected with, and what the call and the giftings and the anointings are on her life. But just the tidbit of her testimony and her conversion, your conversion from Taoism to Christianity, is so powerful. Wait, I'm choking up now. Because see, I was born into a Christian home. I still had to make the choice to accept Jesus as my personal Savior. And truly, I could have turned and walked away and not have accepted Him and not lived by His word. But when you know His truth, it is hard to reject it, because He has put within us a void that only He can fill. We're born with a desire for Him. When we recognize that desire and let Him in, everything changes. It changed for me, even though I was raised in Christianity. But the sacrifice was different. It was different. I never had to hide my Bible. I never had to sneak out to go to a Christian event. I never had to wonder about the salvation of my grandmother. I just cried again. What a powerful testimony you have. of a walk of dedicated faith, unshakable faith, a true commitment to Him who is He who is worthy of our commitment.
Well, I mean, I have to say that who I am today, where I am today, the fact that with my background, I am even a Christian is really God's grace and His love for me. I mean, that's the only explanation.
A miraculous grace and
His pursuit for me.
a pursuing love.
Yes, because it's like, I never heard of Jesus. I wasn't looking, and
I love this woman. I love this woman.
I didn't know this is going to be so emotional.
I love this woman. And I'm crying now too, because I've learned so much from her, and I gained so much passion from seeing her depth of commitment. And that's saying something for you guys who know me, because I don't really like passion. But I do. Her commitment, her faith, her ability to stand when the ground is so shaky is something that you need to hear more about. We're going to do another video. We're going to have to stop here. Again, I have no idea how long this video is. Doesn't matter. You need to watch all of these until the end. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also subscribe to ReKindle MI, ReKindle MI YouTube channel. You definitely want to stay tuned in there as well. Anyway, I can't wait until we record again.
Yes.
This is good. God bless you. Bye.
Bye.